back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
UFC President Dana White, El Jefe, spoke with the media after UFC St. Louis, and this nigga's racist. I'm just fucking around, bro. But check this out. Dana White blasted Kamaru Usman and Uriah Hall. I didn't expect the Uriah Hall thing, but at the same time, I see what he's saying for sure. We've seen this happen before, but let's get into everything. First, speaking with the media, we know Dana White said that Conor McGregor's likely to be stripped so Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov can fight for the undisputed lightweight title, because he said it sounded like Conor McGregor might not be coming back until September, which would be almost 2 years until he defended his title. So it's looking like he may be getting stripped soon. But he also spoke about Kamaru Usman's ridiculous post-fight comments on the microphone, which definitely broke the cringe meter. Shout out to my boy MMA from the Heartland. He said, yo, Kamaru Usman shattered the cringe meter with his post-fight speech. Kamaru Usman was like, yo, I was only 30% and I dominated a so-called Viking. The fucking crowd was raining down boos before he even started. Yo, 30% and fucking I'm the most well-rounded welterweight in the division. And Colby Covington, you can't hide. It's like, damn, bro, you gotta follow the momentum. Like now on the replays, bro. But I gotta admit though, as cringy as the post-fight speech seemed because the crowd was raining down boos, in my opinion, Kamaru Usman is definitely getting a little too much slack for this fight. It's really reminiscent of the Tyron Woodley fights, and Dana White also came out after the Tyron Woodley fight and kind of demoted. I don't want to say the UFC is a fucking promoter, so there should really never be a time they're demoting their fighters, but some people are arguing he's being honest. So at the same time, you know, by keeping it real, you know what I'm saying? So, but this is the thing about Kamaru Usman's performance I've got to get into, because it's I just don't agree with a lot of the criticism from the fight. Yes, was it the most entertaining performance? No, but was it entertaining? Yes. Now, before you say Kamaru Usman wrestle fucked, because that's not what happened, bro. Some people are just heaping criticism. Like, if you give them one thing, they'll move the goalpost. If I tell you, okay, yeah, but he was dominating the fight, you'll say, yeah, but he was wrestle fucking him, and I'll say no, because he was slamming him too, you know, and also he wasn't wrestle fucking him because you could see from all the blood from Emil Meck, he was definitely doing damage. And on top of that, if the moments where like YouTube channels like what I just shouted out this fucking YouTube channel and then they did some shit, I was like, what the hell? But I mean, it's just the common consensus. At the end of their video, they put crickets behind Kamaru Usman's fight. When Kamaru Usman was in a guillotine, Emil Meck had Kamaru Usman locked in a guillotine. They were playing crickets like it was boring because Kamaru Usman, you know, it would playing it into the Kamaru Usman had a boring fight. Like, what? He was in a guillotine. How is he being boring right there? And then also, there was another where Kamaru Usman was like, it looked like laying on top of Emil Meck, but Emil Meck was going for a Kimura. Like, you gotta be careful when your fucking arm is getting put in a Kimura, because one wrong move and you could be put in a submission. One of the only ways Kamaru Usman loses this fight is if he fucks around and slips up and gets submitted or knocked out. So if you've got Emil Meck down there getting beat up, so going for Kimuras, if you get put in a position, yeah, you're gonna have to slow down and get your arm out of there. So on top of, you know, so a lot of the parts where people were saying this fight was boring, Emil Meck was literally going for a submission. So and then on Kamaru Usman's part, he was landing slams, but then they moved the goalposts. Well, yeah, but it's about his post-fight speech. It's like, okay, I get it. You just fucking don't like Kamaru Usman. His performance turned you off. But also, it doesn't change the fact that Kamaru Usman needs a ranked opponent next. Whether he knocked out Emil Meck in the first round or just battered him with the wrestling and dominated him like a little brother, he needs a ranked opponent. And I get what you're saying. Now, Dana White came out afterwards and said, you know, what is this guy talking about? He just beat an unranked opponent and the crowd was booing. And he also talked about his post-fight speech. He said, I didn't love the fight, by the way. Yeah, he's a tough guy. Yeah, he can impose his will. Then you don't jump up and start talking smack like you just knocked somebody out or something and say you only went 30%. So what's that mean? What if you're on pay-per-view? You're gonna go 60%? It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard somebody say. You're getting booed out of the arena on top of it. So Dana White, you know, he's got a great point. Like 30%, like that was a little low, bro. And yes, he said, what are you going to go 60% in the pay-per-view? That's pretty hilarious. But Kamaru Usman did come out in the post-fight speech and speak and say like that he was battling injury on top of, and this is a fact, this fight was rescheduled like 3 times. It was supposed to be at 219, and then we heard 220, and then UFC St. Louis on Fox Sports 1, and then Emil Meek had visa issues, so the fight might not happen. There was a lot of stuff going into this fight, on top of Kamaru Usman not even wanting this opponent because he's been calling out ranked opponents. If you didn't know Kamaru Usman could impose his will, you're just new to MMA or something, because that's literally what Kamaru Usman's been doing. Kamaru Usman is now on a 6 or 7 fight winning streak in the UFC. In every fight he's imposed his will. He's outlanded takedowns on his opponent, scored more takedowns than every opponent, outstruck every opponent. And another thing about this fight is it's not like Emil Meek was fucking beating the shit out of Kamaru Usman with the hands. People are saying, oh, he wanted no part of Emil Meek's hands. What hands? Or you're acting like Emil Meek was busting this shit up. If you want to talk about somebody using wrestling to avoid the hands, on this same card, we can go to the James Krause Alex White fight, where Alex White was whooping James Krause's, with the kickboxing, landing big shots, combos, fucking knees. Alex White was fucking clipping out James Krause up. James Krause was the bigger fighter, took him down and controlled him down there. It was nothing like what Kamaru Usman was doing. Every time the fight was stood up, Alex White would win the striking exchange, so James Krause would take him down. James Krause went on to win a unanimous decision, and that's what people are making it seem like happened here. Like Emil Meek was fucking up Kamaru Usman, so he took him down and wrestle-fucked him. That's not what happened. Kamaru Usman imposed his will there, and so Dana White saw that, and Dana White's not looking at it like a lot of you fans. Dana White saw that he imposed his will and shit. He's just saying that the post-fight speech came at the wrong time. And yeah, no, the fight wasn't amazing, but it is what it is. Neither was Tyron Woodley versus Wonderboy. But the thing about it is, it was fight of the night at UFC 205. While you're watching the fight, anything can happen. While you're watching the Kamaru Usman-Emil Meek fight, any of those slams, somebody said slams aren't that big of a deal. Yeah, until a slam knocks somebody the fuck out and it turns into knockout of the year. So with that being said, man, I've said enough on this topic, because we've also got to get to Dana White, who discussed Uriah Hall's missing weight ordeal. The co-main event being canceled when Uriah Hall allegedly had a seizure. Paige Van Zandt said it was the scariest thing she had ever saw. He was transported to the hospital, and so we didn't know what was going on. A lot of people were saying, now is this enough? His weight, blaming it on weight cutting. Everybody was throwing, the blame on weight cutting, and now, UFC, can we get more weight classes? Like, can we make weight cutting changes now? And Dana White's coming out like, whoa, it's, this is on Uriah Hall, and that was unexpected. I thought it had something to do with weight cutting, but this is what Dana White had to say over here, yonder. Let me see where this joint is. There we go. Boom. Dana White said he doesn't take his training seriously. I did not expect that, but this is what Dana White had to say. The guys at the UFC Performance Institute said that he's what's the word? He doesn't take it serious. He doesn't take his training serious. He doesn't do what anybody tells him. He does his own thing. A week before the fight, he went to LA and was hanging out in LA in clubs and stuff, so not good. So he's saying, this could have something to do with Uriah Hall's unprofessionalism rather than weight cutting. So that's what Dana White's making it sound like there. So Dana White coming out with the big media. It's always good to hear from Dana White, because you don't hear from him as often as you used to. So dope to hear from Dana White. Seems like he's being honest. So with that being said, it is what it is now. And when I say seems like he's being honest, at the same time, you could always say, well, he's got the UFC's best interest. But at the same time, he's telling us some things we wouldn't have known. When he says that Uriah Hall was out in clubs the week before, and the UFC Performance Institute said he doesn't. That's fucking new. That's new, and it actually makes us look at this from a whole nother perspective. When the majority of people were saying, "Oh, it's because athletes weight cutting is so dangerous," and he's like, "No, this guy was fucking partying, bro." So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think about this stuff in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G.